2021 revival season of League Down Under. So we're still going. Apparently everything from the last episode, our longest episode yet, was okay. So we're back again. We've got another chance here for the 5th episode, 5 weeks in now. I'm actually very surprised, lads. I just want to cut in real quick with that because I didn't think we were going to get past one episode. I'm not going to lie. I think it would have been cancelled straight away, as is the usual case for this show. But we're still here. We're still going. Hopefully for now. We definitely haven't sent some money to someone to make sure we're still going. We're all fine. There's nothing wrong here. We'll try and see what happens going forward. But I'm Baz, as per usual, still your host for this horrendous radio podcast show. Joined here with some familiar faces, some new faces here for League Down Under. You might have noticed that a certain permanent co-host is actually not permanent anymore. He left. He was like, I'm done. I've had enough. I'm like, 4 weeks of this, I'm out, boys. Like, that's too much. So he's just in the back doing all the recording stuff as per usual now. So we replaced him with Rhaegor, the original co-host. I don't know if that's an upgrade or a downgrade, to be honest. Rhaegor, your thoughts?
4 weeks is usually about how long we go before we need a break. So,
all right, that's fair. That's okay. So Rhaegor will be gone. Like, you got 1 more week left on you, then.
Yeah,
you got 3rd episode. You got one more. So we're here with Rhaegor, OG host once again. We're joined again by Weapon because we're going to try and extend the time even longer this time. We haven't picked the brain enough just yet.
Yeah.
Weapon, welcome back.
What did we do last week? Was it like 2 hours?
2 hours and 15. That's just a guess. It's not 2 hours 15. I think it's a little bit more or less than that, actually.
I think we can aim for 3 easy. Especially with me and Hayden, we can make it happen. Also, it's actually been so sick watching this take off. Like you said, felt like you were gonna get past episode 1.
Yeah.
People in the sick chat are talking about LDU stuff, and it's oh, damn, people care. That's awesome. We love it.
That's obviously real people, not bots, by the way. Just wanted to just double check that. Obviously going through. It's real people that care, not
be a real person. We're not.
Yeah. And joining us for the first time for League Down Under is Mr. Hedgie. Hedgie, welcome here to LDU. Obviously, just joined us recently in Summoner Society, or here with League Down Under. We had to bring the vampire, guys. I couldn't bring the ginger, couldn't bring the band, but we brought the vampire instead. Hedgie, how are you?
Telling me to turn the light on further, and I just couldn't. So much, dude. But yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. It's going to be a lovely podcast. I don't know about lovely, but it'll be a good.
Lovely's a bit of a stretch, and podcast is a bit of a stretch as well. Honestly, so I don't know. I mean, if you're listening on Spotify or any of other audio services, maybe it's a podcast. But why would you do that? You can watch video. Audio's for suckers. Am I right, lads?
Yeah.
Hating the audio listeners again. 3 weeks in a row. Let's go. Let's not get canned on those. Today's topics is going to be covering the latest week of the circuit so far, of course, week 5 of the Summoner Society Summoners Invitational Circuit for the Split 1 at 2021 season. Some big upsets actually coming through here for week 5. Some matches we weren't expecting to go a certain way. And of course, we're going to be giving you the latest standings, the current matches that are coming up. And, a bit of a deep dive into one of the teams that's been falling off a little bit and just trying to, I guess, figure out where their head's at going forward for the rest of the Invitational Circuit. We're going to be continuing the casters chat that we had last week as well when we were joined by Mendrix and Tico, where if you haven't listened to that, go check that out when you can as soon as possible because it was another great episode. Weapon obviously told me to say that, but that's fine because he was also there. But we went into deep dives, some behind-the-scenes stuff of how we got into casting, how you at home, if you're interested, could get yourself into casting, and just some of the cool things, the behind-the-scenes stuff about just the usual shouty things. And we thought we have Rhaegor and Hedgie here get their thoughts on how they got into things and why they're still here and why they put up with us and why Hedgie joined here. I don't know, man. You've made a really bad decision.
Yeah, I don't know, man. What am I doing?
And, of course, our final segment will be one of our more fun segments, over the laid-back segments. We're bringing back Draftception again. It was a really great game to see so far because Weapon's very happy about that. He's going to get that W this time. He's going to get himself one.
My last one was awful. The more I look at that draft, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah. So we'll be Weapon, of course, once again to try and redeem himself. But now Hedgie will be joining him here this time. Hedgie, how are you feeling your draft? I mean, circuit week was a thing in the past week. That was a thing. But how about this week?
Look, we're banning Vlad and we're not picking Braun, all right? So I don't care who's on my team. Get those champions off the Rift, right? Just
perma delete them. Get rid of them. We're out. But of course, we'll go into more depths and details about how that game will work when we get up to it. But it's definitely one you guys, when you enjoyed it last week, so hopefully you'll enjoy it this week here as well. And of course, as I mentioned, if you didn't catch last week's episode or any of our previous episodes, you can do so over on the Summoning Society YouTube. You know, our partners in Summoning Society giving us a nice place to host our VODs when they go up. Of course, we also have the same thing with our live shows on Saturdays up on the Summoning Society Twitch channel. But, you know, all our backlog is up on YouTube. We also have our audio as well, if you'd rather the podcast version, all jokes aside, obviously. Easy way, you know, if you're on the way to work, on your public transport, all that sort of thing, great to listen on I guess, those types of situations. We're on Spotify, or an official Spotify at League Down Under. I also got confirmation, lads, we're actually on Apple Podcasts. That's an actual thing. It's not a joke. It's not a bit for the past 3 weeks in a row. Tico checked? Tico, I know you can hear me right now. You need to tell me, did you check or was it a family member? Collective. Tico did it. All right, we're giving the W to Tico. It's a real thing. It's a real thing that's apparently happening. And of course, Breaker, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. But we're on Spotify and Apple. Who cares about the others? Use the other two. They're better, I think. I don't know at this point.
The CEO of Breaker is listening right now, and he's like, fuck these guys. I want LDU cancelled. Who are these kids?
There's 3 guys on Castbox are like, fuck, man. So good. I don't know. In all seriousness, obviously go check it out there if you prefer using those services as well. We're trying to be everywhere as much as possible. And you guys are enjoying it. So thank you very much. You know, we've been a month in. You know, 5 weeks, 5 episodes, a month in. Really cool to see. So I hope we can continue to bring this shit show to you guys that you enjoy so very, very much. But we're going to move on, obviously, to our first segment here. Coming up, Core Circuit coverage here, guys. Split 1, Week 1, 2021 season of the Invitational Circuit. We're going to look at the standings so far. So if you're listening on audio, apologies. You're going to have to just believe us when you see the standings up right now. We talked about it a bit during the circuit, obviously, the 2-3 club. We want to call it coming in here right now because there's a lot of teams tied up here. Yeah, enough of that. All right, we'll get to you in a minute. All right, 2-3 club coming through. There's also still the 5-0 club, the 3-2 club, and then Dissonance thought that they'd be special. You know, they don't want wins. They want their wins reversed. They want. They're still 5-0 guys. They're obviously 5-0. Just in reverse order.
Yeah, it's a glitch. Don't just ignore it.
I got the graphics wrong. We'll fix it later, though. We probably shouldn't say that because people might actually think that's a true thing. Because, yeah, standings and rulings have been a bit wonky, I want to say, the past 2 weeks. We're getting it organised. We are getting it sorted. We've got most of it sorted now. It's a top 6, by the way, coming into the standings. That's one thing that's actually already been confirmed, which is nice to hear. But, yeah, thoughts and opinions, guys, on the current standings coming in here. I mean, QT Weekend Warriors still dominating at the top. Yes, Hedgie, your team's 2 and 3 in the 2-3 club. Haha, yay!
We are the leaders of the 2-3 club. All right, we're on top of the.
Literally, you're not alphabetically first.
We're not.
No,
So
you're not there alphabetically, and you're also not there normally because Era's been placed above you.
What are we doing?
I wonder what the head-to-head is. Actually, we should touch on this because, like, for people playing at home, Hedgie is actually like involved in Exile. What do you do from Hedgie?
Mainly draft coaching, but yeah, a bit of the on Rift coaching as well. But yeah, mainly draft. Yeah,
cool as hell. Like, we got some insight.
In case you couldn't figure out that he was a part of the team with the jokes we were doing just before, obviously. Should also mention that Tico's not a part of MCOM because I think that was a joke that was brought up a shit ton last week. Yes, he was with them at one stage. He isn't now. All right, I think we got context out of the way. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, yeah, last week kind of just set us up with the thousands of 2-3 set up here. That is a really cool thing to see there from Design and Weeknight Warriors. I think it's a good point to bring up because they were struggling a little bit throughout the season so far. It's cool to see them bouncing back. Weeknight Warriors 2 wins in a row for these guys coming through now. Looks like they're fixing their, I guess, closing and late game problems, which we'll talk about, of course. One of our matches we're highlighting in a little bit as well. And, of course, Desire, the other game I'm going to highlight against MCOM as well. Had a fantastic game there against MCOM coming through. But Exile, all jokes aside here, Hedgie, I know you're coming in, drafting coach, on Rift coach. I mean, they've been falling behind a fair bit the past couple of weeks, man. I'm sure you've been in the battle station, definitely thinking of ways to fix that. But it's been a bit rough, right?
Look, I guess you could just say we've been exiled, right? Okay, I'm so sorry. Look, had some tough matches. I guess we played Weekend Warriors and QUT this week, which I'd like to say as well, just to preface, I haven't wasn't involved in terms of drafting or any of that sort of thing for the first 4 weeks.
Yep.
And yeah, just for the QT match, I'm on 1, 0%, but we're small sample size, so we'll move on. But yeah, definitely a lot of big games coming up. I think particularly next week games is massive. I mean, we beat Ziz, we're 3-3. Ziz is 3-3. We kind of want to leave the 2-3 club as well. So yeah, it's a very, very important match. But I guess every game for just every team is important. I mean, even if you're, dissonant, why not, have a 4-win streak? They played very, very well. The top team in Weekend Warriors this week. I mean, they pretty much almost beat them without a few plays. So, you never know whichever team you are. Every single match is important for the standings. So, yeah, I guess we're just going to focus on each game as it comes. We're not going to, look too far ahead, and just make sure we're focusing on picking up individual win. We're preparing well for each team instead of, just kind of looking at it in a general perspective. So, Yep.
The 2-3 club. We need to get jackets made, honestly, I think at this point.
It's just worth pointing out as well. Like, you kind of confirmed that it is going to be the top 6 going to playoffs.
Yeah.
The 2-3 club starts at 5th place.
Yeah.
So that just kind of highlights just how important that mosh pit is going to be, like, moving forward. Like, whoever breaks out of that is basically guaranteeing themselves a playoff berth. So yeah, these next few games are going to be really important. And like, I'll jump to your defense, Hedgie here. Like, we were talking about this before the show. The Exile draft, I think this game was solid. Like, you could at least see the plan, and I still rate Dynasty as like a really good top laner in this tournament. Like, I think putting the guy on Camille, having him be the side lane threat, and having this like kind of like kite back, elusive like 4-man unit that can like fish for stuns with Syndra, awesome. We were kind of talking about like the Braun pick and like how it's a little bit weird, but like it works in the context of this draft. Like, it's certainly not meta, but it works. So I like the idea. I do think like QET's draft, like top to bottom, the Cho'Gath pick jumps out as just like, that is 5 head. That is 6 head. Like, as soon as that went down, talking about like the counter picks in the draft, in the cast rather, I was like, man, this just stops Camille from being able to play the game.
No, 100%. I'd like to give credit to QT. Honestly, really, really hard to draft against them. I think they used their bans absolutely perfectly. I think they had some really, really good camp picks. As you mentioned, the Cho, I think, was really, really good. I even think the Vlad was quite good. It was hard to bear them out. I mean, it was between, Tron's Comfort Na, Shen, which was really good in their comp, and a comfort again for Tron, and Vlad. So it was like, we have to give up some sort of power out of those 3. So yeah, it was kind of hard to ban around that. And then as well, like I was actually talking to Dynasty after the game as well. It was just like he was saying like he made uncharacteristic, holy moly, mistakes. Yes, and stuff in the lane. But it happens. We all have bad games. We all have bad moments, and yeah, I guess you have those sorts of games. But yeah, I mean, it was really, really interesting to play against them. They're a very, very strong team, and I think we have hope that come playoff time, if we're there, we can definitely stand up for them and beat them. But just have to probably change around a few things and improve as a team a lot.
And that's the thing is, all right, like QET coming in anyway, like we already knew they were going to be a very strong team coming through to the first season to 2021. They split one coming in. Formal's hyping him up to no end. Obviously, he's the Queensland man. Obviously, he's going to do that, right? But I don't think we were expecting the dominance like this. Same with Weekend Warriors, actually, for that matter. Like, maybe 4-1? Or like 3-2, whatever, like kind of like with MCOM and ZYZZ, because normally our circuits are very, very close. They are still like, not like even like this, like, which they are now, but to have such a close circuit like this and have 2 teams that are 5-0 as well, like, it's insane. And like, it's going to be interesting to see, I guess, how the weeks develop now. How some of these teams going to be able to deal with QT? How some of these teams going to deal with Weekend? I mean, we talked about it just before about how Dissonance took it to Weekend quite well, and we were figuring it kind of looked like in instances of Dissonance might have been able to turn that game around and maybe sneak a win out from under him as well. We were kind of like, oh, is this actually going to happen? But luckily, Weekend were just able to hold on right and keep their 5-0 keep their, I guess, flawless record going through. But I'm keen to see how some of the last teams that QT have to verse go, trying to find a way to beat them. Same for Weekend, and even at the finals when we get to that best 3 set. it's pretty obvious that I think QT Weekend are going to go to semi-finals, at least grand finals, even most likely as well for one of these two guys. If I dare be so bold, right? But I think it's very possible one of these two teams could be in grand finals, if not both, right? So best of 5. That'll be interesting to see as well how some of these guys deal with it. But yeah, there's our standings, guys, coming through as you would have seen if you're on the VOD. If you're not, anyway, but we are going to get obviously more into the deeper coverage of two of the big matches that came out of week 5, but we just wanted to quickly touch on Kraken coming in here as well. Very, I guess, the unfortunate state of the Kraken lineup here at the moment. You might have obviously noticed on the standings that our most recent champions of our most recent circuit coming through, the Split 2 champions of the 2020 season, are having a pretty poor season this so far, 1-4 for these lads. Are very unfortunate. I mean, we have seen it before out of the Kraken org, where some seasons they'll be very, very strong, be one of the top teams, and other seasons they will be more towards the bottom. But they've had a lot of trouble the past couple of weeks, and even this most recent week, they ended up just forfeiting the match because they couldn't even get their roster together and organized for this one. So, like, I just want to, I don't know, I don't want to quick fire 1,000 questions to you guys, but like, I just want to some initial thoughts on like maybe like where they're at, kind of gauge where they're at, because obviously we didn't get a chance to see him last week. We're doing player interviews now for Circuit as well, so we're getting some insights and just general player interviews in general. Top Clear obviously being one of the big things we're doing, and we've also got some other, I guess, more serious interviews, if you want to call that, in the pipeline as well. Just want to get like your thoughts on like maybe where Kraken's at the moment, coming in as champions and now dropping off to, again, like some of the teams like Exile, like Era, like QT, which some of them are newer orgs, like in general. Some are just, they're newer in terms of like being involved in the circuit compared to Kraken and Weekend Warriors. Like, where do you think they might be at?
I think I like, you bring up an interesting point about interviews. I would almost want us, like, hopefully we can tee it up. I'd love to hear from like a support staff member of Kraken, or even one of the players. But specifically before the game starts, because obviously we interview the winners only. That's a conscious choice because we don't want to, like, you don't want to shove a microphone in someone's face after they've I'd love to hear, like, what's happening in the behind the scenes in this team. We can only really speculate. On the Rift, it certainly looks like they're like playing tilted most of the time, unfortunately. But we just don't know. And then roster woes this week, meaning they like could put a complete team together, kind of just really doesn't paint a good picture.
Coming off of a season where they've won, this could have also been a week where players needed that mental reset. You've gone 1-3 the weeks before, so taking that week to have a whole week off extra just to break and reset mental. So maybe it was a tactical, like, mental refresh week, but hopefully we'll see that soon this week coming up.
I feel like Ziz have had their moments though. They've certainly been shown to be like exploitable. Maybe you do just look at Ziz and you're like, maybe not. But like, I don't know. I feel like you play that game out and maybe just see how you go. At least if you look strong against Ziz, then you feel good about it.
I mean, it was a very hype game there, right? It's the Split 1 and Split 2 champions from last year going at it, right? So that's already like, there's already a lot of eyes that wanted to watch it anyway. ZYZZ and Kraken, two of the biggest amateur orgs we have in the scene, obviously Kraken being one of the most established in general. That's even more eyes, you know what I mean? So like, I think I can kind of see Regular's point to that degree of like, maybe they're just like, nah, we don't even want to bother because of just the amount of hype behind it, regardless of the standings and like the state of the teams maybe. So maybe that could have been it going forward as well. But yeah, it just, unless we hear from them, it's tough, right? But like, we're just trying to like, I guess because we don't know. We want to try and find out because again, one of the most established orgs, previous champions, like Kraken have been with us in the circuit for quite some time, and it sucks when we see one of our like, I definitely want to say fan favorite teams and one of our caster favorite teams have been with us for so long, right? Being down and out like this, especially when they're not playing, because like none of the teams have done that so far, right? So obviously, like it could have even just been like a genuine reason, like someone was sick, right? Or maybe they had like overtime at work, or it might not be as bad as what it sounds as well, right? But I don't know, it's pretty tough. But to Regular's point, if it was a mental reset, that's kind of stopped them from being able to qualify almost, right? If not already stopped them from being able to qualify to this season. Could these guys be looking forward to Split 2? Even?
I disagree. I think that they're 2 games off third, right? Technically, so
true.
I don't see them being completely out, being 1-4. But I mean, it's still really hard to bounce back from that sort of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
forfeiting games, there's obviously definitely something wrong in terms of, I mean, particularly being a pretty good and big org. I'm very surprised that they couldn't field a team. You know, even if it was one player, it must have had people out, or they don't care enough, or something. You know, something along those.
Any number of reasons.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just really interesting, and I mean, you know, there's always the chance that they do bounce back again. Like as I just said, like they are technically 2 games out of third place, 1 game out of playoffs or 5th. So there is a chance they still make it. But yeah, it's going to be really a real struggle, and yeah, I mean, I hope we don't see more of those forfeits in the future, though. Definitely.
It'd be a sick story if like they do come back. If like our boy Douglas, like he just suddenly comes back firing on all cylinders, playing like, gank heavy junglers that we kind of know him for, and like the rest, the like Piglet and Relopo will get to carry, and like just like everything comes together. That'd be freaking sick. Suddenly YGX plays more than like Echo to success. Like yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, we have to see it obviously first.
I mean, they're definitely one of the teams that could do it, right? We've seen them do it before. I mean, the going joke is that they're always the run-it-back team, right? They always bring it back. So if any team can get these multiple wins in a row that they're going to have to get now, they can't afford to lose another game here, right? It would be cracking, right? They'd be definitely one of the teams you look towards. So we'll have to see, like, what happens going forward. Hopefully these guys can bounce back, of course. As we mentioned, confirmed now, it's 6 spots for the finals for the Invitational Circuit for Split 1. So we do have 10 teams. Normally we'd only have 8 teams, and obviously last split we did some other weird thing that we don't really like talking about, but there you go, obviously going forward. So it's the 10 teams now that we took away from it. So there's plenty of, like, again, 6 spots. It seems like there's a lot of spots, but a lot of these teams, like we mentioned, is all 2-3 evened up, even 3-2s even up here, really for like what a vast majority, like well over 75% even of the teams in the circuit right now, anyone really could still drop. Any of these major orgs that we've been backing all of them, right? They've all got big potential. So, we're the scuffed OCS, as everyone likes to keep calling us as we're going forward. That's kind of what we are now. That's what we're looking towards, where there's, I guess, like the state of the teams, the quality of the gameplay, right? The drafting, all that sort of thing is getting better and better. So I guess we'll see how things go moving forward. And obviously to do that, we need to look to the past a little bit as well, look at the history coming through, and we'll do that obviously now covering some of the week 5 gameplay right now. Era versus Weeknight, one of the big matches coming out from week number 5, gentlemen there. A big surprise of Weeknight taking the win there, but a very strong one that they definitely needed going through. And kind of funny because Era's in a similar situation, right, where they had their 2-win streak coming in. They were looking to keep it going, but Weeknight kind of stopped it. We got drafts up, plenty of pick orders, all that sort of thing to look over, and obviously we covered a fair bit of it during the circuit. But now, we've had a couple of days since the stream's been on to think about what's happened. Any new thoughts, guys, coming into this matchup here? I mean, I know a lot of us were highlighting Hyper's Victor, for example, and just, I guess, how strong and surprising it was to see that come out of the gates.
I'm really sorry because I casted this game and there was a crocodile in Renekton and a bear in Volibear, and I kept making zoology jokes because I'm cutting zoology. I don't know why, but it was fantastic. All right, great cast. But yeah, I mean, it was a very, very scrappy game as well. It was hard to analyze actually. Midnight had his work cut out from a lot of plays, a lot of fighting, and in that sort of game when Era has like a peely kind of scaling comp with Victor, and mid lane was Lucian, right? So a lot of range champions and like a bit more scaling. I mean, they weren't like super heavy scaling, but it was a bit more of a kind of, you don't really want to have heaps of skirmishes type of team comp. It really favored Weeknight just because they had Renekton and they had the Volibear, they had the Yone, I think, in the mid lane. So it was just a lot of like engage and scrappiness, and since the game was so fast, it was just really suited Weeknight. They did play a bit better. I believe the Lucian Yone matchup was really, really weird. Both mid laners kind of laned badly. There was like multiple like kind of mistakes from each player, and then I think Lucian got caught out like 4 or 5 times in the solo lane, so it was like really, really weird to watch. But I guess that's why you have to study your bears. Like that was just getting absolutely crushed.
The man's got guns though. If he can't kill a bear with guns, he's kind of fucked, right? That's kind of it. Like,
it's kind of sad.
Quickly, like, have you guys ever when the champion design team, they talk about like the fantasy of a champion?
Yeah.
What the fuck is the fantasy of Udyr? Like, what the fuck is he meant to be? Like, Kung Fu Animal Man? Like,
Yeah.
what?
He's a phoenix, dude. He's
So he watched Iron Fist once, right?
Yeah.
And then
like, what the
oh,
like, what designer sat down? I want to see the meeting where like someone brought Udyr to the fucking design table and was like,
Yeah.
"Here's the champion." Everyone was like, "Throw it in, I guess."
yeah.
Fuck, oh, whatever.
So man, he keeps changing clothes every
Yeah.
few seconds, man. He just gets random buffs. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Just fucking
Smack
throw
the
it in. Like
keyboard.
he's a beginner, like iron level champion. He'll never
Yeah.
make it into pro play, like whatever.
Yeah.
Never be good
Sorry,
at
what rank is Iron? Oh, you'll find out in 10
Yeah,
years.
you'll
Don't worry.
yeah, this shit will never be viable in pro play. Just whatever.
Yeah,
Like I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Hedgie. Like this composition from Era feels like it doesn't really have like a clear win con. Like maybe
Yeah.
you're kind of relying on the hyper Victor to be a threat in side lane. You're kind of looking at a bit of a bodyguard comp for the rest of the team. But I think what we really saw here out of this game is just how much this Era team, as much as like the other players are really good, and I think Hyper held up his end of the deal. Like this team lives and dies by Selfish, and Arcaden and Entropic basically just played to kill Selfish, exploit the overextensions, just like murder the kid over and over again, and they did it. And like he ended the game like with like 10 deaths. Like that's an unplayable game resolution.
Yeah.
And then you just don't have a front line that easily engages. You don't have any agency of the rest of the comp. You're relying on Hyper, and I think he just ended up getting picked off in side lanes like over and over again. So they're just it was a hard draft to play, and it could have been playable by Era. They're a good team. But I think it was really well attacked by Weekend Warriors, and like it's a good sign. It's a really good sign for this team. Like we've been talking about these players as being potentially like good moving forward, and I'm glad we got to see it.
Yeah, I think just to add with the draft as well, like it was kind of the sort of draft as well where like if Weeknight ever get any sort of lead or kind of even as well, like just it's so hard for Era to ever play the game. Their champions are and like so volatile. This wasn't much disengage. Yeah, it was just felt like every time Era had any skirmish or any fight, they were just really in trouble because of the squishiness of their champions as well. They just didn't have the items. Victor needs a bit of time to get going. Lucian, if he doesn't get a kind of mad lead in mid lane, needs time to get going. Same with Siva. So yeah, it's never felt like they had a chance in those sorts of skirmishes.
It's one of those funny drafts actually, where I kind of like I almost want to swap the AD carries, and I feel like you'd have a different story. Like Xayah on Era's draft feels like maybe it's a little bit better because it gets to stop like the dive potential. And then like the Siva feels like it just does the same thing as the Xayah functionally is doing in this draft. Like she gives you like another way in. But like maybe that could have flipped it. Like maybe the idea was like you want the Xayah because you got the Galio, right? That's immediately telling you like you want to disengage the fights and have Udyr set up the chain stun to kind of peel. Maybe that's the plan. The Victor, as much as I think Hyper like popped off, feels a bit weird in this draft. Like don't really know what it does if they don't get ahead, like you say.
They
I
picked
know
it early before, like they picked Siva into Volley Thresh, knowing that like if this was their game plan all along, and they wanted the Udyr, Galio, Victor, they could have picked Xayah way earlier. And I don't think Xayah has that many bad matchups in lane. She's relatively safe, and if you're getting like dived on a lot, just play super defensively, play around your ult.
Yeah, I mean, you're the bot laner here. Like, we've pretty much seen Xayah be like the answer to Kai'Sa, who's been considered like the S tier AD carry for basically like 3 years at this point. Like, how long has Kai'Sa been out at this point?
It's been a long time, dude. Like,
quite a few years, yeah.
And she's been broken the whole time. Like, she just doesn't lead the meta. And like,
I want to say 2017, actually, now I think off the top of my head, right? 2017?
No. Like, it was like mid 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was mid-season invitational, like the first tournament, 2018. I remember that.
Yeah.
Again, just absolutely, she was just beyond busted, dude. Like, just ridiculous.
And she's still good. Like Xayah is the answer to that champion, which kind of shows like Xayah is definitely should be considered like S tier as well, I think.
That being said, though, the lethality Siva build, I think is a great build. I think it's very good to play around. It does lethality Varus things, but better.
I think so. I like the idea of like the bouncing slow. Like I think that's cool. Like setting up the fights that way. but I feel like Crit Civer just does the same thing better in fights. Or do you?
It's all about what you're versing. So if you're versing more tanky people, and they've got like the beefy frontline of Renekton, Volley, even the Thresh to a degree, Crit probably would have been better because you're not really going to get onto the backline of Xayah because she's just going to all impale away. So this situation, I would say, like, Crit is probably better to get more damage down on the Yone, Volley, Renekton. But if you're versing a more squishy team, like, say the 80 carries were swapped, I would suggest, like, Lethality Civil would be way better.
Yeah, fair enough. And also maybe, I suppose, in this draft, you have, like, Illusion to be, like, your persistent damage dealer. So
Yeah.
there is that. That kind of works, but I don't know. I've yet to be sold, like, massively on the Civer build. I see it's upshot in lane, but, like, I think you just kind of get outscaled and you lose what Civer gives you, which is, like, the 400 CS win condition, where you just end up, like, critting the face off of the enemy carries. And, like Civer with, I think the rune build should actually be Fleet Footwork, by the way. Like, I think the synergy between that rune and her passive is insane. And, like, with Gale Force and Essence Reaver, maybe less so now that's being nerfed, but, like, you literally, like, you crit the face off. You just auto cancel with the W, and, like, that's like half their health bar. It's ridiculous. It's so much damage.
I mean, we've seen it in a couple of weeks now, that Civer pickup been coming through, so there must be something there, right? There must be something there that's the teams and stuff are looking for. Maybe as the weeks go on, we'll see it develop more, and maybe it's like an experimental thing these guys are working on. We'll have to wait and see. Also, we had Masked Wolf as well for the player interview that Quirky had a chance to talk to, and had some insights from him, like picking the Yone into Selfish, for example, when Selfish just played it the week before the era to take that win against EYZZ, right? And just kind of be like, oh shit, that's a thing that's happening, and like knowing that these guys are getting more confident because they weren't so confident, I want to say, at the start of the season. Of course, I did verse their sister team in the Weekend Warriors, but against some of the teams that weren't too confident. That's something we've seen, I think, from a lot of the teams this season, where the nerves are coming in. I want to say, and obviously with completely new item setup coming in with this season, changing the meta entirely. Obviously, and even the state, I want to say, of the region, right? Like, and I guess how our circuit's kind of been elevated unofficially, right? The stakes are a bit higher now as well. So having all that come into play, you could definitely see why. And now that we're in that mid-season, we are seeing teams starting to mellow out a little bit more. So we are seeing upsets coming through that maybe if they were this mellow at the start, maybe they might not have been upsets, right? Maybe they could have been doing this well from the start. I mean, obviously we'll never know. Hindsight's 2020, right? But we'll have to wait and see. But there was your Era Weeknight Warriors game. Obviously, big congrats to Weeknight. The Era's definitely not out of it just yet, obviously, because now these guys are only just evened up, and I think Era will still be just as strong as we've seen him in the past couple of weeks, continuing going forward, right? I mean, Selfish getting more comfortable in that mid lane. Kaiser seems to be getting more comfortable with Suho as well, and now we're seeing Hyper, flexing a little bit. He plays more than just Obviously, his own plays more than just tank champs, figuring out the victor. So, I mean, and obviously, they're welcome to try some of these newer champs that we haven't seen so much out of some of these other teams yet, right? So maybe they might be able to continue that and maybe psych out some of the other teams coming forward in the further season here for Split 1. But moving to our second game now, Desire versus MCOM, another big game coming through, another big upset coming through, as well as MCOM, talking about them the past couple of weeks, and I guess trying to figure out what MCOM is, right? The motive behind them, the mindset that the players and that coming through, because they've kind of just been chilling, doing their own thing. Their matches haven't been as over the top of some of the other matches we've had throughout the season, but they've definitely been there. Obviously, they're here in the top echelon of the circuit so far. And Desire, obviously not so much. They're one of our bottom teams, kind of in a similar position. I'd even argue as well coming through. Obviously, we know Arkano's in for the past couple of years throughout the circuit. Had a new roster built around him, but they'll kind of just showing up every once in a while. Picked up a win earlier in the season. Definitely took it to some of the teams throughout the season, but were unable to close these games out. But what a huge game to end week 5 on with the Desire MCOM matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I was on cast for that one. It was a fun one. It was not exactly the cleanest game of League of Legends, to be perfectly honest. I'm sure Hedgie has some thoughts. But yeah, like pretty much what we've seen is like just a continuation of the question mark we have around MCOM. I think both M's in this case stood for monkey. They hit the mid game at, I think, a deficit, like we kind of Formal and I had a lot of fun setting up the narrative of the mid lane, where it was like, who if you control Jerry and like doesn't smash lane, which he couldn't necessarily do on the Poppy, like what does this team do? And we kind of got to see it. Like if they hit, I think they hit the mid game, it was like either at a slight deficit or like they were pretty much even, and they just played like they were ahead, and negative win rate just kept throwing himself bodily to his death, like over and over again against a composition that's literally made to punish overextensions, and it just didn't stop happening. It was just ridiculous madness.
I guess it's not even about the draft really today. Kind of a more late game composition with being MCOM, being this team that wants to win early game every time, stomp the game. But as well as that, I mean, negative win rate, not aside all the there was some really, really bad fights where he just ulted in randomly and just died. But I mean, his bot lane was getting just destroyed. Never goes bot, never like even just helps them shove out the wave or something to get a recall off. Kaiser just froze the wave for like 5 to 10 minutes, 40 CS lead or whatever it was. And they just, I mean, you can't stop that at that point. I mean, Kaiser was just too strong. It's kind of, I mean, the draft didn't even matter in this game for me. It was just like really, really poor play, I think, from MCOM. I kind of alluded to some of the plays they made in terms of macro in the weeks before, where they kind of overextended a bit, made some mistakes even after getting a massive advantage. So I don't know. I just think once they hit that mid game, they really got to clear things up, because it's just, I don't know what, if they just leave their keyboards for a few minutes, have a bit of a drink and then come back and end the game. But you kind of see what happens when they don't have a completely massive advantage. What can happen? When they get a bit behind, they just keep throwing themselves at teams, and that doesn't always work.
Which is strange, right? Because I know we even talked about in the past few weeks in a weapon USL, like with IZH, for example, from MCOM, being like one of these new star top laners, I want to say, coming through that we've been seeing. Definitely been rising up in the ranks. And 3-5 as well. Obviously, we had him play interview just in week 4, right? And talked about how he's got that jungle role. Last second, super stressed out. They're able to pull out that win. That was very, very exciting, very happy about that as well as seeing very emotive, I want to say. We have had the chance to talk to them. They've had the chance, showcase their personalities as well. So it was very strange, I want to say, to see this team kind of just not really do much in the end, kind of just keep throwing stuff at the wall and just see if it sticks, basically, I want to say. And I mean, when you're playing Hecarim, you're throwing that shit at like 200 miles an hour, right? Like you're going straight in for that. But like, yeah, it was very, very strange for these guys, I want to say as well, because again, we have talked about how they've been very mellow and, they've kind of just done their thing. They've not been, this is a nice way of saying they've not been, very spotlighty and flashy compared to a lot of the teams coming through, but they were still getting it done, right? And that was the main thing. They're getting shit done. They're getting the wins. They're securing those W's, right? And making sure they're going to look to secure themselves that spot in the qualifiers. And seeing a hiccup like this, which is, it's kind of just gone from 100 to 0 kind of instantly, right? It's very, I don't want to say strange. I want to say shocking to see that kind of happen, especially in an environment like this when we literally I just brought up, right? A couple of minutes ago, these teams are starting to mellow out now, right? And they're starting to find their plays. I think MCOM just going, yeah, nah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the narrative that we're going to have around this team going forward is going to be pretty clear, that they are just a team that feels like they have to smash lane. If they don't do that, they don't get it. And I think we have to highlight the fact that like these players do look good. Like 3-5
absolutely
was nailing the hooks just out of nowhere. Like this guy's mechanically great on these like support champions. Jerry, like when he's ahead, he was like smashing lanes. Was just ridiculous, like completely blasted. Like it was.
Unfortunately, weapons might cut out. We're even getting circuit issues here. OC production.
Sorry, not bad. I'm trying to scroll them on push to talk. I'm trying to remember who the Renekton that is played against was, who he just like made look absolutely foolish. But like,
yeah. Was it on the Jace or like?
It was on the Jace, yeah. And he just,
that was beautiful. Yeah.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah.
But yeah, like these are very good players, and it's just basically a shot calling issue, and it kind of highlights that like a lot of these teams outside of like our top 2, top 3 potentially, like they're not bad teams. They're just incomplete. Like there's just one or two like weaknesses that you kind of look at and you're like, okay, they fix that up. Like this team could take it. Like why not?
Yeah, I think that kind of wrapped things up, I think, for this match coverage. Again, MCOM, yeah, they're still in that top 3 spot, right? They are tied up with ZYZZ now and looking to see if they can, keep the wins coming in and not be part of, I want to say that big midfield pack where you just can't seem to escape the void at the moment, a lot of these teams, and see if they can stay away from that one. And if Design are off that win, if that's given them, the bounce back, the resilience to come back and see if, again, they can get themselves out of the 2-3 club. As cool as it is, as elite as it is, it's going to die next week, unfortunately.
Damn it.
But it gives birth to the 3-3 club.
That's true. That's very true. But it won't be as cool as the 2-3 club because the 3-3 club is just a rip-off at this point. I think
Look,
it's
if Exile's in it, it's cool. All right.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Rightio. Well, considering he's the coach of Exile, they're just going to completely ignore that and go to the next schedule coming through for week number 6, so you guys can check out the upcoming matches here. Because again, a lot of these matches mean a lot going forward here. ZYZZ will take on Exile to kick off week number 6 of the Invitational Circuit for the Split 1 2021 season from 6:10 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. That'll be followed up by the Weeknight Warriors taking on Desire. Air will take on the QUT Tigers. Weekend Warriors will take on MCOM. And finally, Kraken will take on Dissonance for the final match for week number 6. And a reminder again, 6:10 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So if you're not from there, obviously you are going to have to chuck that into a time zone calculator and figure that one out going forward. And of course, you want to actually count it out before that first, because it's actually 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time you should be rocking up, because then you get to see a part of the current podcast we're doing here so far, which is pretty nice. And of course, the pre-show before we jump into the games going forward, so we get more of a deep dive and let you guys know some new happenings about what might have happened going forward up until that current week, right? So always cool shit going on coming into the circuit. So I hope you guys will stay tuned here. Continued action for the circuit. I think we've had some of the biggest viewership numbers we've ever had for the circuit, which is absolutely spectacular. So thank you very, very much, guys, for continuing to support the OCE scene for League of Legends here, even if it's not officially supported anymore. So really cool to see that one going forward for you guys. And with that, that's our circuit coverage done. We're going to move on to our next segment now as well, because circuit talk, that's all fun and good, like all well and good. But we want to talk about the casters as well. We always talk about the players. Talk about the casters. All right. Players have their circuit. All right. That's next week's news. All right. We want today's news. We already talked about Weapon and I, obviously, earlier last week. If you didn't check that out, do that after this podcast, obviously. But now we're joined here by Rhaegar and Hedgie. And lads, I'm going to give you the floor, basically, to showcase yourself. Why you're a caster? Why are you still going as a caster?
I hate myself.
Things. Fair enough. That's fine. What was that? Sorry.
You bully me if I don't cast.
Yeah, that's also true. That's also very true. You guys can play rock paper scissors. Who wants to go first?
You go. I'll give the 40. You were about to say that, weren't you?
I absolutely was. My story's a bit shorter, so that's fine. So I got into casting. I want to say it was 2017. I think was the year we did the Nope.
I have to help with this.
Yeah, I don't remember what year we started.
2018.
Please tell Rhaegar's entire story.
Yeah, almost at this point I could, because I've basically been involved in the whole thing. But yeah, 2018.
So 2018, I was playing in the meta high school tournaments, was doing lots of local events, and unfortunately my team got kicked out. So Baz needed someone to help him out on casting, so went on, did some color casting for him for the meta finals. Did that for 2 years, I want to say.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, on and off. That's pretty much how I got into it, was Baz bullying me, saying he needed someone to help him.
That tends to be a thing that a lot of people say, and I don't know if I should be happy about that or not. Baz the cyberbully.
Seems to be how a lot of people start their careers.
In an e-locker.
Seems like how a lot of people keep their careers here as well, apparently. But anyway.
The thing that's kept me casting, or gotten me back into casting now, is probably one, Baz bullying me again. But more seriously, I'm I've had my fun playing in Iron to Gold, Iron to Plat tournaments, and rather than just wasting 8 years of playing knowledge, figured I'd try and get my game knowledge to more people. It might not be diamond level or above, but I've spent 8 years studying 4 different regions. So a lot of it is just this works, this doesn't work. Why does X work? Why does Y not work?
Shit, he's divulging our secrets, guys.
Damn it!
Don't tell him.
You make it sound easy. Shit.
See, the knowing is the easy part. It's the explaining it to people and having them understand it's the hard part. At least for me.
I
Then
guess
again,
that's,
I do.
that's actually a really good way to put that, actually.
But then again, I deal with.
Are
both
you
on a daily
competent
basis.
enough to explain to like X amount of people why this thing works or why it doesn't work, and also make it entertaining at the same time? So it's like being a teacher for about 1 million students per stream, right? It's we don't have that many people watching, unfortunately, but maybe one day, right? Maybe one day.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just a lot of fun to get out there, have some fun, make fun of Baz. Is generally how I cast.
So you try, just like the rest of the Samsung team, they try, but they know what happens when they try it. They get
Yeah.
burnt. That's normally what happens. So
I
that's
tried.
the record so far.
I had a
Anyway.
whole joke game to make fun of him, and then he immediately said, "Sorry, Caleb, I had an Xbox." Oh,
Not that hard, guys. It's like it's the joys of being the host as well. Actually, that you can get to practice because you have to deal with like a constant rotation of people. So if you're not on top of your game, yeah, you're gonna die. Basically, then you get booed and someone else replaces you, right? So there you go. I was attacking a fly then. Anyway, that's completely irrelevant if you're not watching. If you're on the audio side, anyway. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That is cool stuff. There was a point I was going to bring up about that, and I've completely forgotten it because I have a monkey brain. So that's fine. So Hedgie, go on. Obviously, you're not a new caster, but you are new to us at Summoner Society. Of course, you're joining us for the circuit for the Split 1 at 2021 season. So I know we're all keen to hear, and I probably a lot of people at home are also keen to hear like how you got into it and like basically your history of casting and maybe what others could learn from you.
yeah, I believe I got into actual League of Legends in the start of 2017. We got laptops for school, and I didn't really have a proper PC. It was a Mac, but it's not really a proper PC.
Yeah.
So we got laptops for school. My friend was like, "Oh," because he played League of Legends, and he's like, "You got to play League of Legends," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that sounds good." Not knowing the hell that I was about to step into. Played a lot of games that year. I really enjoyed the world. Started really getting me into it. I went for C9. I still go for C9 today. Very hardcore fan. It was exciting watching that world. Very heartbreaking staying up until like I think it was 2:00 in the morning in a best of 5 against a WE, the Chinese team, and that sort of and losing that. That was pretty heartbreaking. We played really, really well. They were talking about a lot like NA just sucks at World. They have no hope. But then, oh my god, we're winning! Yes. Oh no, we lost. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Oh yeah. It was good. And then about I think a year later, actually, started to get half decent at the game at least. Around platinum. Eventually got to kind of high plat, low diamond. But I decided, to do some of these Iron to Plat tournaments for BSV. So did them for a bit, and then eventually I saw that there was casting. So I was like, that sounds like a bit of fun. Starting out, pretty trash. I just kind of got on there and spoke a bit. It was fun. I did a bit of PvP, did a bit of CC. Back and forth. Tried out both of them. Enjoyed a bit of both, and then I don't know. Over the years, I like analyzed gameplay in terms of I just watched so many regions. Got really into a few of main analysts on YouTube, mainly LS. I'm going to say, I'm sorry, I'm an LS fanboy.
Of course it's LS.
Very proud LS fanboy. And from that, I kind of, established myself as a bit of a color caster. I really enjoyed, analyzing the game. And that's how I kind of got into coaching a bit, particularly last year. I coached one team, a friend's team. And then I coached, what was it? Yeah, I coached I joined Monash University in Victoria, and they had a program for Auto Academy there. So I actually joined that for a few weeks. Very new to the coaching scene, so I didn't really stick around there for too long. But then I did join a proper friends team. We did a lot of scrims. I think it was like 2-3 months of scrims and coaching that team. And then this year, finally decided to join Summoner Society. I've casted BSV and TMG like on and off for the last few years, and I thought, Summoner Society is awesome. I really want to cast there. Signed up midnight. Baz. I was like, this sounds pretty good. I might consider it. And Baz, you leave, you die. So what was I gonna do next? All right.
You signed the blood pact now. Mendrix and Full is the old god, surely.
Can I just quickly say, you mentioned your first year of playing League, you watched Worlds, C9 versus WWE, right? Yeah.
Yes.
That was 2017.
Yes.
Damn.
How old does that make us feel, man?
Yeah. I feel old, man.
I have played way too much of this game in the time span I've been following it. Honestly,
he's still at his wonder years, guys. I don't.
I mean, he has developed the 6 head.
Yeah.
It's good to see, but man,
because what are we like? I'm 2012. What are you guys again? I think Aaron's 2012 as well. And Weapon, what are you?
I mean, I started playing the first champion I remember being released when I was playing was Lee Sin. So
that's 2011 or 2010.
Yeah. When I was playing, we didn't have an OCE server.
So basically, when you were in primary school, right, Hedgie?
Oh, man.
When I first started playing, I was a singed one trick because we had to play on 250 ping.
Yeah. I guess that's the best way for us to put it, right? We were playing before the OCE servers even existed, right? That's, I mean, there's probably plenty of us that are like that, but as years have gone on, that number's even it's going to be it's I don't know, 200,000 people. But when it's multiple millions of people playing, that number is soon going to look that's actually not very many people, right, for a region. So
all my climbing has been done on jungle. Pretty much. I was rank 1 of Mumu for about a year and a half it's OCE, but rank 1 of Mumu at least. I think I was top 5 world. I actually can't, but I was up there. I don't know, that champion, dude. You just flash ult, that's all I'm going to say.
Did you have enough mana to ult when you flashed?
No. That's the reason I don't play him. I did get a pentakill on him once, all the hundreds of games I've played on him. I got a pentakill on a Mumu. I don't know how. Dude, we lost that game.
Probably when the Abyssal Scepter still existed, right?
We lost that game.
We lost that game. Classic.
If your Mumu's getting your penta, there's a reason you're losing that game.
Look. Let's not discuss my solo queue teammates. Gotta get away, all right?
It's a Christian podcast.
But yeah, honestly, it's been a really, really awesome experience starting out with Summoner Society this year casting, and against Coach Exile now is really, really awesome. Kind of the first proper team I've coached through a season. I'm going to coach through a season, which is really, really awesome. So loving life, loving League. It's really, really good. Really enjoying it. So yeah.
And there's your poster boy, right there. Loving League, loving life. There you go. That's the quote. You can use that. It's for free. Unless he wants royalties, in which case that's probably have to deal with him. You go to his lawyers. I don't know how that works. I'm sure Hedgie's got them somewhere in the back.
Baz bullied me into saying this.
Being a vampire of 2,000 years, I'm sure he'd have his lawyers by now. So I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, how have you been alive for so long? You've only just touched League.
Look, man. I'm glad I haven't touched until now. To be honest, I've seen World Wars. I've seen horror.
You've seen Garlic, and he's League League though.
League is by far the worst. This CLG team. I mean, I've never seen anything compared to them. Oh god.
Speaking of CLG, Weapon, you brought up a thing in our text chat that we'll bring it up in the background while we're recording. There's some behind the scenes stuff for you. We're scuffed. Favorite esports timing moments. I think that's a pretty good idea to actually talk about and bring up as well. It kind of ties in, right? Not on the script. We'll talk about it anyway. We're going to make this podcast go for 3 hours somehow, right? Because that's apparently our goal right now, thanks to Weapon. So favorite esports timing moments. not C9 losing
Oh,
W
no,
in
I have one. I
2017.
definitely have one.
I've
Definitely
got
not that
mine
one.
for sure. I've got it like locked in.
Lads, then go for it. Please explain. Please,
Actually,
please.
I
Everyone talk at once and say it all at once.
really
and
excited
then
to say
we'll
this.
Go for it.
I kind of have two. I guess like I'm so sorry. Seeing on
No.
making semis in 20.
Nah, for sure. Like that was hype. That was a deep
Awesome.
one.
Yeah. I still today love the song Rise. I think it just encapsulated that run, you know, just kind of rising to. I don't know how they beat some of those teams. I mean, we threw it Africa. We beat RNG. Was it Gen G? I think they changed. I don't even know what their team name was at the point. They keep changing, but Vitality had a really awesome run in that group as well. But the other moment, just like a single play, was SKT versus EDG. They were down 10k gold 2017 World
Yes.
and hit the. There's not even anything that compares to the engage they hit. It was Chokyu, Flash Silence, Rakan hit every ability in his kit, Ori Shockwave on 5. It was just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. It's just gorgeous. And they came back from a 10k gold deficit and beat EDG. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can kind of see how this SKT team now. Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
It's actually kind of funny as well because like it was literally 10k gold deficit, and that's classically the line. Like that's where like Caster's like, you don't win this game, 10k gold, it's the number. And then SKT are like, you know what? If we hit all of our stuff, we just
they were good.
Yeah. No, mine is so easy for me. Actually, I mean, I kind of have two, but like the main one is Misfits taking SKT to 5 games.
Yes.
I can't remember what year was that. I'm actually
that was 2017 as well.
2017. Yeah.
Great worlds. Jesus.
That was so good. Like that was like I mean the tipping point before that, which is kind of like my second place like runner up, is Vitality taking down like RNG. And obviously like Yamato's interview afterwards where he's like, you know, just play your style, like, you know, be the best team that you can be. Don't try to copy anyone else. Like that felt like this like amazing tipping point in like League of Legends where like the West finally felt like it was like swinging against the big boys in the East. And then like Misfits like playing absolutely out of their minds against SKT, and like that blitz hook that Ignar landed where Faker ducked away, Ignar hooks, flashes forward and hooks him back into the blue brush, and Faker looks done, just tilted.
I love Ignar so much. I love him. He's so awesome.
Yeah. And like I remember watching that game and I was like, oh my god, like is this happening? And then it was just so heartbreaking that final game when they finally lost. I can't remember how it happened. Like I mentally tuned it out.
Mr. Rego, how about yours? Your favorite esports? Mine are gonna be like completely different to you guys. Like it's gonna be so weird, man.
Bold. I'm trying to find the game because I don't remember who was against exactly.
Are we going back to like high, like Metal Gear High?
We're going back to patch 3.11.
Oh, damn.
And that was TSM vs Gaming Gear EU in Worlds 2013.
That is old timey.
That was probably my favorite game I've seen because neither team was making it out of group. TSM is my favorite team, has been since 2013. But just watching the absolute shit show that was that game was my favorite thing because they changed everyone's position. Like, they had Dyrus move from top lane to support. They had Xpecial move from support to top lane. They had an ADC Teemo. It was just a beautiful game to watch and really got me into, like, following esports full on from then on.
So good.
Yeah, mine, like, I want to mention, like, world stuff or NA stuff, but two things about that. I have a goldfish brain, so I can't remember or retain information for the life of me, right? So that's already a problem.
Baz, please don't say Exile vs QT, dude. Please. Just
Exile vs QT, right? Was such a good. No, honestly, like it's on the same wavelength though, to be honest. Because like my favorites aren't like the big world ones. It's like the ones I've like been able to watch like live myself or be be able to cast and be a part of. Some degree, right? Because some of those, I think I've got like some of the best memories as kind of where I was a part of it and I was going. This sounds really cheesy, but it's true. So my favorites will definitely, and Regal will probably know both of these ones because I only mention these two for now. Definitely last year's Meta SANT regional finals match where Regal's team finally got that W. I'm not gonna lie, obviously, like a lot of people would know anyway, like we went to the same school, so even though I wasn't part of the team, whatever, I was still casting those games, be able to cast some of the meta stuff for the past few years, and finally seeing these guys after like 3-4 years of like trying, just missing out on the previous year, then finally getting the win was like insane to see that and being able to cast that as well. Like the emotions, reactions were real, so like that was really, really cool. And then probably like one of the first games I was actually able to be a part of casting before even Sumstock and everything back in 2017. And Rego, again, you'd know this. The qualifiers for Kings of the Rift, which again, a lot of people won't know what I mean. I know you guys definitely won't know what I mean because it was an SA local thing that happened. But if you know, you know. There might be some people who are watching this who used to watch the old League and Under might know what I'm talking about. But the qualifiers for that to take on the Washed Up X Semi Pros just before that, the final first live event for day 2. I believe it was, I can't remember if it was Truth R5 or Truth MPA. I'm pretty sure it was MPA, right? You better correct it for me. But that was another amazing match because that was like the first like full on, like full crowd of people in a big community hall, like set up. There was the last qualifying spot for the last final spot. People were crying for more reasons more than one. That's gonna put Aaron there, but there was a real thing. Like it was so good and so cool to be a part of.
Is it best of 1 or best of 3?
Yeah, another inside joke from the event. But those two are like, and there's other games like that as well, like local things and even online stuff that like I probably my go-tos. World stuff was always awesome. Obviously, being able to play those awesome cool events. I mean, my stuff's more from like 2014, 2013. It's like the C9 flawless run. I want to say. Back, I think that was 2013 and 14, if I'm not mistaken, where like that's what made me a fan of C9. Anyway, I was like, oh yeah, I like that team. They get the W's. I like that team. But they being able to part of the run is always really cool. But yeah, no, those two local things, I'm like, they tend to stand out to me the most. So
you weren't a fan of
it's a cop out answer, but you know,
you weren't a fan of Chiefs and the 3-day pause that they had.
We're not talking about this on this podcast. This is Scuff's podcast, but that's no. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to talk about it because you brought it up. So
Please.
The Invitationals was it 2015 or 16?
15, I think.
When they went to, was it Brazil or Turkey?
Brazil.
There you go. See, this is why I keep Rego around.
Pretty sure it's Brazil.
Because he fills in the blanks for me. And there was a certain match that happened between Chiefs and another team, and the match, the Chiefs were going to win, but then the servers died. So they had to restart the match, and then the other team won, even though the Chiefs should have won, but they restarted the match for no reason because the servers apparently died. And then the Chiefs lost, and then we lost our chance to get to Worlds, because if we won that match, we would have been in Worlds. I had a bit of a disdain for a couple countries' teams and countries for a while there. I'm not going to lie, because that was very upsetting. Very big fan of our region and of the Chiefs. And I was like, yeah, we're finally going to make it, boys. We're finally going to break the curse. Wildcard team makes it in. OC won't be a joke anymore. Nah. And here we are, years later, still trying to, unfortunately, get past the wall, finally get there. Yeah, so there you go. I didn't want to explain it, but thanks, Regal. I had to at this point, because otherwise Weapon and Headgear just like...
I completely missed that one. I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah.
To be honest. Also,
They
it was
had-
quite a few years ago.
The servers were getting DDoS because they weren't playing on Tournament Realm. They were playing on the actual servers, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it was the wild card, it was like the first round of Worlds, basically, with all the wild card teams.
It was the international wildcard event.
Because we were watching it live, and it had happened, and I was so bad, and Regal can attest this, I was so angry. And I think it was the following of the year after when the Direwolves got in, and I wasn't a big fan of Direwolves team, I'm not going to lie. I'm more of a fan of the Chiefs than that, I've always been. So, already not happy, but I'm like, okay, cool, we still got a cool representative, still going to support the boys, and they shit the bed, and I'm like, bro. We're going to have the Chiefs in.
I've always lived in the play-on stage, and C9 is the king of the play-on stage, so we just smashed it.
Yeah, you know, and that's fair. That's okay, because I like C9. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go for C9. That's fine. I don't get to go for OC, but I still get to go for one of my favorite teams. So it's like, it's not a win, but it's a win.
Exactly.
Yeah, other than that, you figure that out some way. I don't know.
Just quickly as well, like on like more topical stuff, thinking of like OCE and international competition. I actually work at Pentanet,
Yeah.
so like we talk about the team in the office right now. Like they're 13-0, basically looking at like the first OC undefeated regular split. And like I was talking about this on like our Slack server, like getting everyone hyped, like teams like and like only one person in our office was smart enough to walk up to me and be like, "This means we're going to get fucking smashed internationally, doesn't it?" I'm like,
yeah,
maybe, maybe.
Oh,
undefeated season domestically is not a good sign.
Okay, so for the future of the podcast, Pentanet representative Weapon XVX right here. We won't shit talk Pentanet at all. They are such a great team. I love Pentanet. Same boys, we love Pentanet.
Oh yeah.
We all go for Pentanet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Weapon, if you could just sign us that check after the stream start podcast is done.
I'm so sorry. Wait, you guys have Fire Panther, right?
Yeah, the teams.
Okay, I love them. Yeah, they're great. Yeah, they're great.
It's like it pretty much like I said, it's paid for by Steve. Steve literally just like fucking threw money at the league and was like, "I want the best players who are left in the league," and he got them. Like, there's a reason they're 14. Well, they're gonna go 14.
But they don't have Ratty though. So is it really the best team in OC?
They don't have Hedgie Town 74. So is it really the?
Yeah. Don't know. They need Hedgie Town 74 on the coach.
Yeah. Do they have?
That's true.
Do they have the regional winner of the SANT Meta League, Rhaegar? Whatever Rhaegar name he's going with at this point. I don't think so.
I think if Pradius hands then he'll be the sub. Like we need to bring two subs to international events. So obviously, it'll be Rhaegar and then Hedgie 74.
Yeah, I just need to check my emails. It's going to be there in my emails.
Check the emails.
This bit, by the way, reminded me of what I was going to talk about like 20 minutes ago. I was like, "Oh my god, I just had an epiphany." It's about bullying. Not really. It's kind of tied in about bullying Rhaegar to cast. That's a weird segue. SA, as far as I'm aware, doesn't have the biggest caster base. Right? I know we've got a fair few players here, but we don't have the biggest caster base. Hence why I bully Rhaegar into casting. Don't call Kids Helpline Rhaegar, please. All right, it was you enjoyed it. It was fine. It was agreed upon. We're going to the next segment now. We're going to talk about Draftception. I'm actually pretty keen to get going with Draftception. Yeah, it was a great segment we had last week. Cool to have it going this week as well. This time, still going to be Weapon, but now it's going to be Hedgie. He's going to take on the mind of Weapon here. Weapon is 0-1 right now. So really, you think we'd have Mendrix sitting, he'd be the boss, but Mendrix is too cool for this. So we've got Weapon, obviously, for this, because he was nice enough. He feels sorry for us. Was nice enough to come back. So that's why he's here. And Hedgie, well, yeah, he's
clearly
the
me.
So you know,
clearly, me and Weapon are pretty good at being on. So we're
yeah,
you know,
yeah. So now you get to draft like the team you actually want to coach, Hedgie.
Yes.
And Weapon gets to draft the team that will hopefully get him the win this time. Question mark. We'll have to wait and see.
I think to some extent, I just have to play to the crowd and just grab like the popular popular players, right?
Yeah, But for you guys at home who didn't see last week's episode, again, another mention plug. Go check it out after this episode. These guys can choose 5 players from any team, whether we're drafting a hypothetical OCO team that'd be going forward. The guys cannot double pick players, however, and the pick phase will be similar to what you see in ranked. First pick, 2 pick, 2 pick, etc., etc. But there won't be a ban phase for the player pick. However, in the champion pick phase, where they make the teams with the champions, that'll be exactly the same. We'll be using tournament draft for that, I believe, once we have that set up and ready to go. So when these guys are setting up here, Rhaegar and I will be the judge. We get to decide on who wins each round. And the loser, of course, will have penalty game. We are still working on those. This isn't the thing we made up. We're still going. Tico is going to chase Ewan down, and he's gonna get him to do them. Rhaegar's got his penalty game. He's going to play, obviously, with form in a little bit. We'll have that ready, hopefully, for you by next week. Fingers crossed. Depending if this man over here we go. I got my pointing right. This man over here will actually do it. And not pussy out. That's fine. Because those are the rules. You have to do it. You have to do it. It's golden rules. So I believe these guys will almost be ready to go. Yes. TK also reminded me. He could just tell me, but he types it because he's quirky like that. Team names.
No, Quirky's not here today.
No.
I've already named mine. I'm just going to go with the classic weapons. With a Z.
Weapons. We're keeping that.
Why not?
So we got weapons. Hedgie. We need a team name.
God. Hedgie's got like 2 teammates, so it's guaranteed.
Maybe something like Exiled Vampires, The Lost Boys, Twilight.
Okay, actually, I'm gonna go. That's straight up just great. Exiled Vampires, dude. That's good. That's great.
That is like maximum edge.
Great. All right.
Very edgy.
The perfect esports team name.
Oh wait, yeah, the edgy exiled vampires.
EV. There you go.
EV. All right,
EV.
guys.
You evolve into Flareon.
Yeah.
But if it's Edge, wouldn't it be Umbreon though?
I don't do Pokemon. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh myself. I'm sorry.
Bruh.
Sorry.
We do both. Come on, we do both. We do Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Come on. Actually, we don't anymore. We do the Digimon card game now.
I'm a Magic player.
You know.
I'm gonna back in my truck.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're real funny weapon, right? You spend $400 for a card. We get it, all right? You've got money, all right? You
I'm
play
a Magic
Magic.
player because I'm 32.
Yeah. That's probably how it works. You have too much money to burn, you're over the age of 30, or you're just fat.
No, fuck
To be
that, man.
honest.
I play on MTG Arena like all day.
Oh,
Just
you think I got the money, bro?
fuck that.
All right, so it looks like we are ready now for our first phase. So it will be started by Hedgie for the player choice. So the Mr. Coach of Exile, Colorcaster for the circuit, Human by day, Vampire by night, gets to pick the first player. Now this will be funny because how many Exile players will he choose, and how many won't he choose, and how much shit he's gonna have to cop after the fact? I don't look forward to it, to be honest. But... So yeah.
No, you know what this really tells you? This tells
What?
you who Hedgie's like top pick in the league is.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
is,
This is the
like strategic best player.
I should also add they don't have to choose by role order. They can choose whoever they want, obviously, as long as they've got one person per role. There
Bro, I
we
feel
go.
like I'm really under the spotlight here, you know. Like,
Yeah. As long as if that's the point of the subject.
Flame hard.
Alrighty. He's looking. He's thinking. He's deciding. He's number 41 out here. He's debating. Mental battle. Mental fortitude.
Go for it, man.
Right now, I'm just trying to throw him off. To be honest,
I have a player I want to wait. Don't know if you're thinking it. So I'm scared.
I think there's a few obvious like first choices that
Yeah.
jump out at me. So I'm very interested to see like which direction you go.
Oh, yeah.
Can you roll swap players?
Oh, I don't think that's.
No.
I think that's.
Yes, we can. Can we just pick? Can I get Showmaker, please?
Maybe. Is Showmaker in our circuit?
Yes.
Perfect.
Just quickly
His
say
name-
someone
his-
start a rename.
He's named Dream from Exile. It's actually.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Wait, I don't have any sort of the.
So your first pick, man. So
Oh wait, am I? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
I actually
yeah.
thought. Okay, no.
That's why we keep spotlighting you because
Okay, no. I was waiting for you.
yeah, no. Oh wow. Okay, that's the pick. Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. So I think I'm going to learn from last week's mistakes, and I'm just going to go ahead and straight up lock this in.
Let's see. We're just waiting for the Google Doc. Yep, Tron. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's so
yeah.
funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's
Oh,
fair.
well, you know what?
Hang on, Hedgie. Hang on.
No,
Weapons one more, please.
it's snack drafts, so I'm picking number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right. And for here, I think I'm going to probably secure another like good mid laner. I think solo laners are just way too important in this tournament.
Yep.
I think it probably has to be Refury again.
It's a very good pick, though. It's a very, very good pick. Very
It's
strong.
a really good pick. That said,
Yeah.
I think there's a couple I could probably go for.
He's
Yeah,
thinking
like I'm
hard,
just
right?
looking. I'm looking at the mid lane
Really
pool, and
Japanese music.
I actually think so low key. I think Lanson is actually not a troll pick here, but I am still going to lock in Refury. So shout out to Lanson because I think he smurfed last week and like actually is a good player, but it's Refury.
All right.
Well, there we go. Refury with the lock in here. So first two for weapon. Top laner from QT, mid laner from the Weekend Warriors.
Definitely Chirp. Chirp's insane. I mean, playing some last week. Dude, look, I know I joked about Dream, but he's a really good mid laner, and Chirp solo killed him twice in 5 minutes, and I was like, oh, he's really good. Okay, I underrated him compared to Tron. So yeah, Chirp's insane, honestly.
Yeah, you can do that. You're
Third pick for Mr. Hedgie. So
God, the mid lane. No,
oh,
you know what?
hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
He's gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
Chirp
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So are you playing Chirp top here and Dream mid?
Yeah. Dream has an insane champ pool. He's a great player. He's one of the best mids in the tourney.
Nice.
Man's a legend.
So for Hedgie's edgy exiled vampires, there should be a bracket H bracket in front of edgy, by the way. Nightfall at Chirp and Dream for the first three, and Weapon has Tron the Pom and Refury. He's looking for his third pick now.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna do that because it just looks better. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the edgy X. Yeah.
it's just getting like Rule 2070 each word that gets added.
Yeah.
So it's gonna start playing Fallout Boy when you click on it. Anyway,
Yeah. So I think I'm picking up my support here, and I think there's three choices that pretty much like jump out straight away. Like I think Rusty showed why he is absolutely like one of the top spots in the league. But I actually am going to stick with my guns from last week. Sorry, am I boring you, man? You good? You good?
no, that's fine. That's fine. I'm good.
We're probably not even on camera, so you would have gotten away with it. But no, I'm going to stick to my guns and grab Suho.
I had a feeling. If Weapon doesn't have Suho's like taking that plane ticket, man. He's coming straight to WA.
coming
Like you're done.
Those fucking like 12-inch pythons.
Yeah,
That's
that man I think is quite literally Saitama, but just in an alternate universe. Like One Punch Man for days. And your fourth pick.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab jungle here because I think jungle is the other role that's like going to be hotly contested. I think there's a couple of 80 carries we can grab here. It's not negative win rate. Sorry, bud.
Come on, man, you can't. Come in, you know, that's
Doing like that.
That's bullying.
I think it's Terath, like for sure. I think that guys look really good alongside Selfish when they have been winning. And like I followed the guy on Twitter, and he's actually been like, look, he's talking about like he's like seeking some coaching and stuff. So I think that's good signs. He's in the team for sure.
all right.
Hey man, I know well.
All right. I had my ADC picked, you know, kind of before this. I just knew. I didn't think he'd pick him. Oh, I'd get a chance. I think this guy is so good. I mean, again, I'm not really analyzing there. I'm just saying the player has had so many good performances this season. Looks really, really good, even in their loss. I'm going to pick up Vendrick. I think he's a really, 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 really good AD carry.
Fully agreed. He was going to be my pick if yeah, no, he was actually mine. I was basically looking at the 80 carry pool, and I was like, yeah, like it's either Vendrick or like a couple of others, and yeah, I'd respect it.
Just double check, Mr. Regal. Did you see what I just saw?
I saw it.
Yeah,
I didn't do it. Wait, what?
You posted something, and I didn't quite get to see it.
Was
There's too many people here. They're gonna type, you know, blabber or something over my picks. You know, make me think I'm gonna pick C9. Last pick. I didn't think about sport.
well,
Well, you know, gotta go with yeah.
he's thinking, he's hovering, he's thinking.
It's Ratty, obviously.
That's an instant win, I think. You can't choose Raddy. That's
Good choice. Good choice.
I thought Banish is one of the better weekend players, honestly. Looks really solid each game. I think he knows his champions super, super, super well. Every time I watch him play Alistar, he's Threshold, whatever Engage champion he's playing, he mainly plays Engage, but super, super, super insane in terms of being able to use his flash and just kind of play the aggressiveness well.
And here we go for weapons, final weapon. Haha.
All right. Oh. All right. So what am I picking up? I've got a top laner. I've got a mid laner. So I'm picking up an 8 carry here. I think it's pretty clearly. I think Iano jumps out at me as like the best of the remaining carries.
Yep.
Just quickly scanning the list.
Yep.
Actually, no. It's so clear. It's so clear. It's Piglet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Underperforming in that circuit, but obviously, like, still an incredible player.
Yeah.
Like literally on an LCO team. Like, there's no reason I wouldn't grab him.
Well, lads, 30 picks come through there. The edgy exiled vampires, Nightfaller, Chirp, Dream, Vendrick, and Banished against weapons, Tron the Pom, Refury, Suho, Terath, and Piglet. So, unfortunately, no selfish for Suho again. It just seems to how things work now, but that's fine. I'm pretty happy with both sides. Mr. Rhaegar, what about yourself?
Yeah, I think both teams are really good. Part of me has a bit of favoritism right now towards weapons team.
Thanks, man. Check your PayPal.
Right after the Pentanet money.
I had to get an Exile player in there. I couldn't leave my boys behind, you know.
Yeah. Why only one for Hedgie? Why'd you only choose one of us? Why'd you leave out the rest of us, bro? What do you mean?
Come on.
Don't tell me like this, man. Oh, hang on.
They're all good players, I reckon.
Yeah, I am. If I go off performance, it's weapons.
Oh, come on.
If I go off of charm, it's weapons. And if I go off of anything else, I think honestly at this point, it's weapon. I'm sorry, Hedgie. Weapons got it. All right. To be fair, Tron is looking to be the strongest top laner in the scene. Refury is insane. Suho is one of the supports, if not the support. Piglet, again, he's on the LCO. He's going to be there for a reason, right? Although, you did have Yano. I would have personally picked the Yano, but I can see the Piglet, so that's fine. And Terath is just getting better and better and better every week as well, right? So it's kind of just like...
Terath also played full lethality Poppy.
True.
Which we hated, by the way.
That Baz loved.
So much.
Yeah, I can see it.
Poppy.
In defense of Hedgie's picks here, I think like this is probably the roster with like the most upshot. Like, I think these are all players we're going to see if they stick to their guns in like professional play.
Yep.
Like I honestly feel like I've drafted a team that feels like you could just transplant them into the LCO like kind of right now, and they'd be pretty competitive. This feels like a team that would be competitive, like if not now, then definitely later.
Yeah, as I said as well, I'm still happy with this roster.
Yeah,
but your one stands out so much more in every role, and even as a team, I feel as well. I feel like they would gel together really well, even in the end as well. I mean, besides a gameplay, you've got both Tron and Refury for player interviews, man. Like, and Suho. So it's like, do you want a serious interview, or do you want two players to clown on the rest of the scene? It's like, here you go, take your pick.
I've hidden my other draft. It's going to be Can of Kung.
On socials, yeah.
I think you win bot side, I win top side, would be my opinion.
I think it's very close on top side, but yeah.
Do you think Tron would lose top side when he's quoted as saying no one will beat him in a one-on-one?
I think he can.
He's unkillable.
Can't 1v1 your own teammates. I see. I think Nightfaller is insane as well.
Yeah,
very true.
Happy to pick that up first, to be like, he's really, really good player.
But it is time to move on to the champ side of things now. So here we are. for Pro Draft, it's Pro Draft time, boys, to see what will happen.
So
Of course, this is the Champ Draft side now, so we're going to see, if Hedgie can outdraft Weapon, or if Weapon can redeem himself entirely, even that back up to 1-1.
I'm on blue side again. This sucks.
weapon smart. I'm scared.
No, you actually literally do this like week in, week out. So
That's true. Yeah. We'll have to see. Let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, hit that red button.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, whoever would like to go first.
All right. I think even though, actually no, I've got Tron the Palm, so I'm not going to ban the Vlad.
Just gonna do meta,
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go for this.
There's a distinct lack of walking back and forth with a notebook right now, and I'm sorry.
True.
Desire being the first ban.
I need to get my LS impression. They're actually gonna just take away all the really strong picks, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see it. Let me see. What else do I want to take care of? I think if I let this through, I'm trolling. The ban has to go through. That's a
cellophane.
ban.
Okay.
Did you say cellophane ban?
Yeah, her name's Cellophane.
Ah, god damn.
For the people at home, Cellophane is a going joke of a name I've called Seraphine for the past 2 months. I want to say now, so there you go. Because she's an idle, sparkly girl that keeps changing her colors, and she's got the personality of plastic. She's Cellophane. Third band coming through for Weapon.
Can we call that Camille?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Zaya, Ro, Camille bands.
Broken picks that are still up.
I mean, I'm just seeing a black box. I don't know about you guys, but
That's fair enough.
That would be 2 weeks in a row Weapon, by the way.
Yeah, I keep doing this. Thinking way too much about this.
Kai's being banned out, and now Weapon gets the first pick. So, reminder for the audio listeners: Zaya, Rel, Camille banned on Weapon's side, Udir, Seraphine, I'll say it properly here, and Kaiser for Hedgie's side being banned out. Weapon is hovering 80 carries at the moment and locks in 200 years. So, there you go. Of course, that's Aphelios. Tristana insta-lock for Hedgie there as well. And it's going to look for his second pick now as well.
I like the Aphelios pick.
Yeah, you would say that though, wouldn't you?
Big fan.
Yeah. What's your mastery level again?
7.
Yeah, there you go.
All 4. On 7 on all 4.
Yeah, you take
Lilia being picked up, big strong jungler. Instant picks for Thresh and Hecarim though. That is huge. Hedgie.
What's up, man?
Tom Kench locked in.
Yeah, he's got 3.
Yeah.
To the top side.
He's got 3.
Yeah. Weapon knows I'm going with it.
Hedgie.
What was he going, Hedgie? What lane is Tom Kench going in?
Support.
Support? Not top lane?
No.
Why not?
I don't have Quirk in my team. Oh god, wait.
We have to do it.
What do you want to call it?
That's just oh god, I don't even know what that ban is. I'm sorry. That's Syndra.
All right.
Syndra ban. Okay. Again, blank boxes. Just pretend there's a Camille and a Syndra there.
Sorry, I'm actually sorry.
Fix it in post.
Yeah. Tico, go on paint in the editing after this and just draw like a stick figure with like orbs.
Purple balls around her.
I think I take Irelia away from Dream and Chirp.
Yep, that's fair. Final ban for Hedgie. It's going to be the Gnar. Get rid of him. Very strong top laner. Always a great go-to, especially with a very strong team fight comp. And seeing a lot of that right now. Weapon for his final ban.
Mm-hmm. What have you yet to pick up? Mid lane. I want to get rid of a control mage, I think. Get rid of that.
Ooh, Oriana. Okay, so Zaya, Rel, Camille, Aurelia, and Oriana banned out.
Yeah.
As well as Udyr, Seraphine, Kaiser, Syndra, and Na. Senna locked in. Weapon is fuming right now.
That's actually awesome.
Because that's Senna, and for you guys playing at home, Senna was banned by Mendrix last week and now picked against Weapon in one of arguing of Weapon's favorite matchups right now, favorite duos. So he picks Vladimir because he's got a tilt head you have to face the earth.
I
That's just me.
absolutely pick up Vlad here. Like, there is no question about it.
Yeah.
Dream is on my team right now, and he's going, "No, please do it again."
He's banging his head against the wall in the insane asylum. He's like, "Get it out!" Oh man, Weapon's final pick here. 3 seconds. Can't black box this. Orn. All right. Orn Judy, man. Tron on Orn Judy, man. Tron is like.
I'm fine with it. Now, really, I should have picked Sion here.
Disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, Orn still does quite a bit here into the team investing, I'd say. Fiora Instalock.
Chirps Fiora, by the way. Chirps Fiora.
And here's our lineup. And I'll show on audio. I'm not doing the joke again. Weapons. Aphelios, Thresh, Hecarim, Vladimir, Orn. The edgy exiled vampires. Tristana, Lilia, Tom, Kench, Senna, Fiora. Of course, this is not in roll order. These are just champs locked in.
No bias here. I win.
Yeah. Okay. No bias. All right. We have some good champs locked in. We have some memes locked in. That's fine. Mr. Regal, I know you have a Mastery 7 on Aphelios and Tristana, and Senna. Actually,
No, not Senna.
not Senna. Oh, she's on 80 carry. That's right. She's a support. What are your thoughts on the pickups here?
I had a thought from the very first lock-in that was a mid lane Tristana, and then it solidified it with the Tom Kench lock-in. I was a big fan of the flex to put Tristana mid. I'm not sure if Weapon saw it coming.
I saw it coming. I'm not necessarily concerned about the Tristana matchup. I think I can safely scale through that with the Vladimir. My focus in this draft was heavily towards the bot side. Because as soon as you drafted the Tom Kench, I knew it was going to be a passive lane. So while it is going to be a Tom Kench that offers a lot of safety, I think like attacking that lane feels like it's going to be the weak side, and that's where I'm looking to focus. And if I can catapult the Aphelios ahead alongside the Thresh, two host Thresh as well.
I was about to bring that up.
And we've got the Orn to basically teleport down there. Like, I'm putting Tron the Palm on weak side duty here. Like, he is absolutely going to be taking the dog champ for a walk against the Fiora, even more so. Teleporting down there and like literally like I'll be telling Tron in pre-game comms, like, man, you have like literally no tempo in this game. You are dropping 4 ways to teleport bot. Like, you are fucking dumpstering that bot lane. I don't know what reuse like Vladimir is like, but I assume it's good. Like, the guy's a good player, so that's the one unknown.
Thought process was ban out. I was just banning out, Buster Champions, and then the second 2 bans were for comfort picks for Nars, Tron's Nar, and I just banned a good blind pick mid laner because you're gonna have to blind pick one of top or mid here. Tristana, so I can flex, and then Lilia, best blind pick jungle up, maybe Hecarim as well. I'm happy to trade Lilia for Hecarim here. And then Tom, you pick Thresh. I was just like, okay, I'll take the Tom into Thresh. There's other picks like Morgana and stuff that I think are good into Tom, but I think Tom's fine. And then you left center up, so I was like, okay, take Tom center. I think it's a really strong lane, good weak side lane. Thresh has struggles, obviously, then getting onto the Tom and onto our team in general. And then Chep's Fiora is still up, and you picked Orm, which is a really, really, really good matchup for Fiora. Like, all right, pick that, and then I think, oh god, I outscale.
I think, it's close. Like, Aphelios definitely has more like active scaling, whereas the center, if she gets it's all timer based,
I think Dream on Tristana should beat Vlad. I'll refreeze Vlad just because of the range Tristana has, and as well, she almost kind of outscales it. The range advantage she has in the late game, she has potential to jump away. It's so hard for Hecarim to gank anywhere. this game as well. Like Fiora has so many dashes, bot lane, center Tom, and mid lane Tristana. So kind of hard game for Hecarim, but I mean it's bloody Terath's pretty good. I mean he can find a way. But yeah, guess just trying to set up to try to counter each individual lane as I could.
Yeah, I think you win top. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree.
One of the problems I have with Hedgie's team is the 3 people that want to be close range against an Aphelios who does more damage the closer you are, if it's an ideal situation. Because if he has, like, Chakram and Lifesteal that I can't remember the name of right now, and you're running at him with Lilia, Tarm, Fiora, or even Lilia Fiora, that's not a fun time for Lilia Fiora. They're going to get shredded.
Lilia can play long range as well, is the idea, I think, yeah.
You can
You wait for, you let Hecarim and no one engage, you play back, and then you kind of go in when they've blown stuff. We do have Senna Tristana as well, range.
Yeah.
I tried, because he first picked Aphelios, so I was trying to kind of have some really good range champions, because Aphelios is really good against Dive, very, very similar to Desire, actually. Loves playing against champions that can engage on her. So, on him, sorry. So yeah, that was, I think I had to really take into consideration another reason I kind of just picked Tristana straight away as well.
I think, like, as well, I kind of thought about, like, I'm going to come to my own defense and add a little bit extra spice on this. I was also thinking about flexing the Ornn.
Yep.
And I don't think that's necessarily the play, but I think the play is that when we do start to generate momentum, if we do, the play that I'd be putting in my player's head is we actually short shift the Vladimir to the top side.
Yep.
And have, like, just rotate our lanes, maybe, like, literally, like, start side laning early, so that we can start to, like, generate pressure with the Aphelios Thresh in mid and have, like, the Ornn just be matched up against the Tristana.
Yeah.
Because he's fine there. Like, he's more than happy. If we get that, I think we're okay.
Yeah, I think Ornn has a tough time anyway. Like, he's going to be outranged Tristana and frickin' Fiora, and, like, it's just a tough matchup anyway. So, but Ornn is good with your comp until so much engage, Thresh, Hecarim, got Vlad and Aphelios to back that up. But yeah,
it just made it tougher for both of us to lock something in here.
Really high quality drive for both.
This is the problem we had last week.
I think you got to look at, like,
It's actually really good.
Weapons team wants to, like, be fighting as a group. Whereas I feel like Hedgie's team wants Fiora in that side lane doing a 4-1.
Seems familiar.
I kind of just want to look at it not counting the players, but just counting the champs. Because I think if we count everything in, the way this draft went and how good it was, we'll be here all night. And lo and behold, boys, we've actually been here all night recording this for you guys at home. So we're going to have to make a quick decision, I think, and not think about it too much. I'm not going to be like, oh, this is my favorite champion, so I'm going to pick this. But I think it would all come down to how quickly can Weapons team close out the game, or how much can Hedgie hold on for the scaling, right? I feel like that's basically it, with Fiora just doing Fiora things, as you mentioned, Rego. It's literally down to that.
Shield bow or a Stridebreaker game for Fiora? I think Stridebreaker is just good.
Oh god.
Put one spot.
Speaking of, what's the mythic for Aphelios for you?
Well, okay, guys, we're getting too in depth. All right, we're getting too in depth. I'm gonna have to try. That's fine. Because what's the rune page build, boys? What summon is you taking?
I'm not a Fiora player. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry,
right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
no, you are correct in asking it.
I think could Hedgie hold on? The Ornn is the thing, because Ornn wouldn't like. Ornn provide enough pressure.
This is great. This is really high quality. It's good.
Because that's how I look at it. It's a matter of, like, Aphelios can definitely put in the work. Hecarim's a monster at the moment. Vladimir can sustain and do high burst. Again, I didn't want to count the players, but it is Suhan Thresh, right? So we know the hooks are going to land. But Tom is so much disengage. Senna and Tristana can be halfway across the map before they have to worry about trouble. You know what I mean? Like, doing damage. Lilia, the placement of Lilia, like, if you're a Lilia player, it can be insane, right? And again, Fiora's doing Fiora things, especially against an Ornn. So I honestly think Hedgie might have won this out just because he can sustain long enough. I think because Weapons team doesn't have enough damage, but I could just be a monkey, I think, and just be entirely wrong.
Man.
Yeah, I feel the Phyllis is there, but like there's just so much that can not outright stop him, right? But like can again, like Tom Kench can just be like, nope, Fiora. Because, like, where's the pill for Phyllis even, really? I feel like, because, like, I know you said Ornn's going to be down bot all the time, but, like...
It's Thresh all day, man.
But if it's like that, Hedgie's team just won't even bother, like, going in. Like, what's the point? Why would they make that a thing, ever, like, be a thing, right? They'll just say it's
Because
how...
dragons exist.
And Nightfall hits the 5-man Lilia slate.
See,
I think you're forgetting one big thing.
yeah.
This is teams based around sick, right?
Yeah.
Now, what was my quote from the first week?
I don't know, Rhaegar. What was your quote from?
2 wolves
Yeah.
that have no business fighting.
Yep. And they always fight. Yeah. And objectives. Yeah. Okay.
So throw all that out the window.
Yeah, true. Fuck. Shit.
It's fine.
No, okay. I've already said Hedgie. I'm gonna have to go with Hedgie, right? I just have a feeling that again, I don't want to do this to Weapon 2 weeks in a row. But I just have a feeling that Hedgie's team could just hold him off long enough for the scaling. I've got that feeling, and if he wanted to be aggressive, he's got the Lily, he's got the Fiora, he's got Tristana, right? I just feel like the answers.
If Thresh lands a hook, who survives?
Everyone, because Tom just eats that.
So
Even
what if
Tom,
Tom is our target?
Pardon?
even
What if
Tom
Tom is the
dies.
initial target?
Yeah.
That is a dumb thought. Don't start this up.
Then Tristana and Senna one-shot the Thresh.
Why are we playing 5D chess now? This is
I'm sorry. That doesn't make
This
sense.
is okay. I think this is a very similar situation to last week, where it's like we'd have to see the game play itself
Tom's
out,
a
right?
tanky champion, so he's not just going to insta-die. And you're
We're
using...
gonna-
Yeah, it's like to me, it's like I think Hedgie's team could make it, but it's like I don't know, like 51-49 or like 52-48. You know what I mean? It's like it's so close.
There's not heaps of... okay, sure, Vlad and Aphelios, really good champions, the damage, right? But I'm expecting Hecarim's going Moonstone, right? Tank build.
We're talking about
There's also 3 tanks into Senna, Tristana, Fiora, all good at taking down tanks. And it's really hard to burst through the Tom, and then you're still got your 280 carries to burn through, and that's
Yeah.
if
I
the
mean,
comp
we're
gets to it,
ignoring,
but yeah.
we're ignoring the Tom. The way that the fights I feel will play out is Senna is going to be next to Tom Kench all the time. So that's instantly 2 targets for the Vladimir ult.
Yeah.
Instantly 2 targets for the Hecarim ult. Instantly 2 targets for the Ornn ult.
Yeah.
The only person who gets denied there is Thresh. And even then, he is to an extent quite happy hooking the Tom Kench because that's his avenue into the fight.
I just realized that outside of Tom as well, Hedgie doesn't even have a front line, and Weapon has 3.
To Fiora, alright? Just
The only engage I see is Tom ulting someone into the fight. Or
Lilia.
And Lilia builds Moonstone, and I only.
Although Senna could stun someone as well. I mean, what are the odds? Who are you going to stun? Like the 4 tanks?
it's pretty easy to just deal damage to weapons comp because he doesn't have any dashes. So you don't need heaps of engage against his
The
comp.
funniest part is this just making me want to choose Weapon over Hedgie now. But I've
I
already
mean,
said
they have no dashes, so it's you don't have to engage.
seriously, Aaron, you're gonna have to lock one in.
There's too many variables.
Exactly, and we're gonna be here all night. We've dragged this out, I think, long enough. As these guys, we need to lock in an answer. So, Rhaegar, you need to choose one or the other.
We're going to need a deciding vote because my vote is for Weapon.
Yeah.
Well, then, let's ask LS. I think he can be our deciding vote. I think.
Okay. Well, if it is 1-1, it was both votes for Weapon for the Draftception.
No,
So
fair enough. Yeah,
Weapon will take Draftception week 2. Gets his redemption.
take it.
Your penalty game Hedgie will be in the mail sometime
Tico.
soon.
Oh.
You need a deciding for TK.
TK wants to.
I mean, it'd be Weapon anyway, but fine, Tico, you can say it out loud. Who's
Yeah.
the deciding vote?
No! Sack.
Producer
Yeah, it's just Weapon anyway. All right, okay. It's the same anyway. All right. I'm sorry, Hedgie. You couldn't get a W this week at all when drafting. Apologies,
I had
man.
fun. I had fun.
Yeah.
It was very close.
That being said,
Fine at the end.
Oh, so that'll be a great game of League. Like,
Yeah.
So good.
But yeah, so there you go. There's Draftception. Weapon ties up 1-1. Mendrix is 1-0, and Hedgie is 0-1. So now we need Mendrix and Hedgie to have a match and see who can win that one for our top 3 so far. I know Formal definitely wants to get involved on it. Probably Midnight and maybe Tico might want it at some point as well. So definitely still plenty of guys who want to come in for drafts around. And Fetch as well. Fetch would definitely love to as well. So definitely quite a few of us that would love to.
it's a bit
get this going. So
unfair for Formal against me and Weapon. I think we're just too smart, dude. Yeah.
And lads, that's it for the 5th episode of League Down Under. Again, I think we're gonna. Are we beating the record, Tico? Can we get like a timestamp real quick? I just want to quickly hear. I won't say it out loud. I just. He has no clue. It's a lot. It's a long time. It's a very long time. But we hope you enjoy anyway, because we had to deep dive a lot of things and get the most info we can out to you guys, even if it just sounds like rambling sometimes. But we did enjoy. Of course, we're in association with the guys from Summoner Society. So give some love to the Summoner Society team. Of course, go and check out all their social medias, the Facebook, the Twitter, the Discord server, the Instagram, and of course the YouTube, because that's where our VODs are. All our VODs, all our episodes so far, and future VODs for the foreseeable future will be going up on the Summoner Society YouTube channel. So go check that out. Of course, this episode, hopefully you catched it live. It was over on Twitch. Obviously, if you're watching live on Twitch right now, the live Twitch premiere. If you don't, however, it is on Twitch on the Summoner Society Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SumsogOCE. We have live premieres every week. Of course, the weekend of the circuit start coming through. So you can enjoy it live and chat with everyone and clown on us when we can't respond, because we're definitely not pre-recorded. I would definitely respond to you guys. Any sort of subscriptions, or why didn't you interview this person, or why did you choose this person over the other? We can't answer that because we're not live with you. So I guess that kind of sucks. Hey, sucks to be them. You're gonna have to wait until next week for us to maybe answer it. But there's your uploads. We're also up obviously on Spotify. And it's confirmed we're on Apple Podcasts now. The joke's over. We can get rid of it. It's dead and buried because we're actually on Apple Podcasts now. And of course, Breaker, Castbox, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public. You have too many, I think, honestly, too many selections for us to go to. But I mean, the more the merrier, I guess. There you go. Wherever you want to go to listen to us, the audio version of League Down Under, go check us out on all these different platforms, of course, as well as the YouTube and the Twitch. And of course, a big reminder, of course, week 6 of the circuit, at least at the time recording, is around the corner as well, of course, happening this coming Monday. So check that out as well. Some great matches heading that way, live from 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. We would have caught some of this podcast here, as well as getting ready now to stop over to the pre-show. We'll be joined by myself and whoever I get dragged onto the desk, or really, let's be honest, at midnight actually dragged onto the desk, I should say, coming forward. And we'll obviously break down this week's upcoming matches for you guys. And that's it. And any final comments, guys? Any final thoughts, opinions? Episode 5 League Down Under, the scuffed show, whatever show comment. Yes, no, maybe.
It's always fun, man. It's a
Always
pleasure.
fun. It's not fun when you be nice about a weapon. Come on, like.
I told you I'm making this shit fucking wholesome.
Yeah. Regal Hedgie, because Regal as the feeling the permanent co-host. Hedgie first time listener, avid listener. You guys got any thoughts, comments?
Up XL. I don't know. Let's go. Gonna win.
Now he's plugging his game. Great. This is what happens. I give him a few seconds and they start plugging. It's fantastic.
And then your contract extension if you need me for any more episodes.
No, you still got one more week. You got one more week. No, you got one more week. You got one more week. Right? One more week, and then we need extended. That's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 5. We'll catch you hopefully in a few days if you're watching live for the next start, week 6 of the circuit. If not, hopefully the next episode of League Down Under. So till then, guys.